Attorneys for former President Donald Trump are asking a judge to hold off on setting a trial date in the case involving his handling of classified documents. Now, paperwork filed late last night says that they'd like to wait possibly until after the 2024 election. Trump's team argues holding the trial during the race would, quote, create extraordinary challenges. And it's not clear when there will be a ruling. This morning, the judge did agree to Trump aide and co-defendant Walt Nauta's request to delay this Friday's hearing until Tuesday, July 18th. CBS News legal contributor Rebecca Roiphe is joining me now for some analysis. So, Rebecca, what are some of the main reasons Trump's legal team is arguing for the trial to be postponed? Because that's quite a long postponement.
Yes, Anne Marie, it is. It's an indefinite postponement, which is itself somewhat unusual. The former president's lawyers are suggesting, first of all, that there are extremely complex and novel legal issues that need to be determined. Secondly, they say the discovery will be time consuming. And finally, as you noted, they talk about the unprecedented nature of this prosecution and the fact that the former president will be wrapped up with campaign obligations, making it difficult to attend to the complexity of a trial.
So as we know, because we've seen Trump's legal team in action before, delay is a tactic that we often see them implement. That being said, you talk about discovery. The federal government has submitted, it's really sort of mind-boggling, the number of records, 428,000 records, more than 305,000 documents. The government has a large department to go through all this stuff. I don't imagine Trump's legal team can rival that. Is there a point that, it's going to take a while to go through all of this stuff? Is there a valid point?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of their arguments is that the sheer volume of the discovery makes it time consuming. And in addition to that, there are these classified documents that are involved. The federal government has legislation that governs how these sorts of documents are supposed to be handled during a criminal prosecution. In some ways, that makes it easier to go forward, but it also does create a cause for defendants to claim that they need more time, and thus a basis for this kind of delay tactic that you mentioned that the former president does try to use, and all defendants often try to use it in a criminal trial.
Another thing that the Trump team has been citing is how difficult it might be during a presidential election year to select an unbiased jury in the case. Now, there have been high-profile cases before, and you don't have to be living under a rock to be on a jury for a high-profile case. But this is a period of time where these candidates are out front asking us to pass judgment on them. They're trying to win us over. This is a little more complicated than a high-profile case. How do you screen out potential biased jurors?
It is extremely complicated. And as you say, the system is used to this, high-profile cases, and we expect that juries are capable of putting aside these other considerations to consider the facts and the law in an unbiased, impartial kind of way. Yet, as you say, the degree to which there is pressure on this process at this moment is significant. And what the judge decides to do about that is an interesting question, because of course, if this gets delayed past the election, there are additional complications that come. Can one, let's say the former president wins this election, can one pursue a criminal prosecution against a sitting president? And if he does not, will one of the other candidates, whoever does win the election, issue a pardon or stop this prosecution? And those are questions that loom around the edges. They won't determine the answer to this particular motion or any of the motions, but they are important questions that linger around this case.
Indeed. Rebecca Roiphe, thank you very much.
Thank you.